Welcome to Food for Thought, the place to explore, celebrate, and manifest a life motivated and defined by unconditional compassion and optimal wellness. Today's episode is Give Someone the Nod, a greeting like no other. Before we get there, my name is Colleen Patrick-Goudreau. You can find me at joyfulvegan.com and on social media. You can find my books wherever books are sold, and you can join me in my online cooking classes. This podcast is possible because of support of listeners like you. So thank you for subscribing, for listening, for supporting. You can join other supporters by going to patreon.com/Colleen Patrick-Goudreau and become a patron, either at the monthly level or the annual level. And thank you so much in advance. I want to share something with you that really enriched my life starting a few years ago. And I thought you would be interested in seeing what it does in your life. Now, at the time of this recording, we are still in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, the coronavirus, and we are wearing masks or face coverings to prevent spreading the virus. And it's interesting because this gesture that I started doing several years ago actually is apropos even more now because we can't see each other's faces, we can't smile. But I actually found it more profound before we were wearing face coverings, and I'll explain why in a moment. So everyone's different. I'm someone who does like to make eye contact with a person who's walking toward me as we're walking on a sidewalk or a street or what have you. And I would often find that when I would smile at the person walking toward me, I would often find that they wouldn't smile back. And I thought, why? I mean, and this wasn't, happening every single time that, clearly I was, grimacing as opposed to smiling. Like, it was just something where I found that the connection really wasn't there, that sometimes the person would smile, sometimes they wouldn't. And I started realizing that when you're seeing a stranger and you want to greet them, you're not giving this full, teeth-baring grin, right? It's not this full-on smile that you would have when you see a friend where you say, hi, it's so good to see you, hi, or a neighbor or something, or hey. It's a person you don't know, and it's just a salutation. And so I just almost started this as an experiment, and it worked once, and I was ecstatic. And so I thought, okay, I have to keep doing this. I have to keep trying this. This is so interesting. It was really this like anthropological experiment that worked. And I thought, I want to keep doing this. And so what I started doing, instead of giving a smile that probably looked like a half-hearted smirk, right? Because I wouldn't give this full hi to every person who passed me. And sometimes you don't want to give a verbal hello. Sometimes you're listening to a podcast or you've got earphones on or headphones on, or you're on the phone and you just want to acknowledge their existence and you want to acknowledge that they're passing you without even using a verbal salutation. And so instead of trying to just give a smile that I guess looked half-hearted, I began giving a head nod, just a head nod, just a nod toward the person as I was looking in their eyes, so they knew it was directed towards them, or they know it's directed towards them when I do this. And I found not only did it feel more natural than I think, this kind of half-hearted smile or smirk, it also was so profound because it was almost always reciprocated. And so it goes like this, right? Someone's walking toward me, I look into their eyes, I give a short nod, and almost without fail, they nod back. And then often what happens is when they nod back, they give a smile, like an actual authentic smile, right? Which is obviously difficult to do in a face covering. This is what I mean when I say that this was even more profound than what you can do with a face covering. And so the face covering, this isn't like nod now that we can't see each other's smiles. It's almost like the nod would actually make the person feel special, feel important, and feel genuinely connected to you. And so they would smile as they nodded, and then you would smile back very authentically. And I found it was this really profound interaction that tepid smiles never produced. And why wouldn't it? A head nod is really just a miniature version of a bow, right? Which is a gesture of respect and deference. In many cultures, it's used to express gratitude, to apologize, to greet someone, or to show reverence to an elder or to someone of higher standing. And there are many cultures that still use bowing, though we don't in the West as much. But I found that a nod is a mini version of a bow, and people feel special when you nod toward them. It's almost like it's the silent version of a word. There's a Sanskrit word that many of you who take yoga classes or do yoga or practice yoga as a spiritual part of your spiritual practice, or who read Indian philosophy or Eastern philosophy would know this word. It's a Sanskrit word, namaste. And it literally means I bow to you. It's derived from the words namas, which means to bow in reverence, and the word te, which means to you. So I bow in reverence to you. And it can be used as a simple greeting, namaste, or as a deeper, more spiritually minded salutation. And it literally means, for many who practice yoga, or for many who would use this word in this sense, it means the highest in me salutes the highest in you, or the highest in me bows to the highest in you. I just love this. I bow to you. I bow in reverence to you. And it's just such a beautiful sign of respect. But that's the word. I feel like the nod or the bow is a silent version of that. It is quite literally saying, I salute the highest in you. And so I think that's what's happening when I nod to someone or give a head nod, they nod back. I just feel like it makes you feel very revered, and it makes you feel special. There's etiquette surrounding bowing in many different cultures that can be really complex, but I think, and we don't bow, I think just a simple head nod is all it takes to make someone feel honored and respected, whether they're strangers we pass on the street, whether it's people we know and love, or people whose opinions differ from our own, just whatever it is. If you see someone in the store, if you see a clerk, if you see someone on the street, if you see a stranger, if you see a friend, try it. Just try it. It just takes a little movement of the head, just a little head nod. And I want to know if you find it to be as powerful a form of nonverbal communication as I do. I really want to hear from you, and let me know. Try it as an experiment yourself. You may have to wait until we're not wearing masks. I find that when I try to do the head nod when we're wearing masks, it's just harder because people can't tell that I'm moving my head up and down as much, which is interesting because it's only the lower half of my face that's covered. But I do find that it's a little different. So what happens now is we do tend to verbally say, hi, have a nice day. How are you? How you doing? Happy New Year, whatever it is we're saying, right? And I think that works right now while we can't see each other's smiles. But try it. You could still try it while we have the masks on. I think it actually, can help. But I want to know if you experience what I have experienced. And so I bow to you. The highest in me salutes the highest in you. Namaste. Don't do nothing because you can't do everything. Do something, anything for the animals. This is Colleen Patrick-Goudreau. Thanks for listening.